Perfect day in Nashville with Randy Cross. This is Kevin Harlan capacity crowd here at the Coliseum between the Titans and the Colts, who are coached by Tony Dungy, now in his 4th year as the Indianapolis head man. He's done a great job. Just got a contract extension, 3 years and $15 million. And Jeff Fisher is in his 11th full season as the coach of this organization. The Titans will kick off. They lost a tough one last week in St. Louis to the Rams. Baronis will take care of that. His kickoffs have been the talk of the NFL. 4 touchbacks amongst the best in the league. And the Colts just got by Cleveland last week. It's Tennessee, it's Indianapolis, and here we go. And picked up by Ran Carthon at the 2-yard line for the Colts. And he's brought down by Tony Beckham. There's a fumble, and the Colts have it. It looked inside on the Colts as if Dexter Reed jumped on the loose ball. The ex-New England Patriot 36, he did, and they've got it. And let's see the hit.
Good coverage down. It was Hill, 21, that put his shoulder right on the ball. When the rest of the group comes along, the ball squirts loose. See the helmet on there, it squirts loose. Luckily for Indy, it's recovered.
There are a couple of tight ends for Peyton Manning on his first play from the 19. 1st and 10. Right to work. That's his tight end, Dallas Clark. Tackle made by Bullock. He's out to the 27-yard line, picking up 9 and close to a first down. 21st ranked offense in the NFL, and quarterback Peyton Manning ties Ron Jaworski's 2nd all-time NFL consecutive start streak today.
Given right away on first down defensively, Tennessee in a cover 2. Look, how patient can Jeff Fisher be is one of the big stories of this game against Peyton's offense.
27-yard line, 2nd down and 1. And this is the 3-time Pro Bowler Edgerrin James, pushed out of bounds by Pac-Man Jones. Again, they stick with the 2 tight ends. Manning, Fletcher, the UCLA tight end, brought down by Brad Castle. 40-yard line of the Titans, gain of 24 yards.
So one problem that Peyton Manning and this offense has had early, Kevin, is play action hasn't affected defenses much. Defenses have decided when he goes and fakes those handoffs, they're not going to bite. They're not going to move defensively. That was just a tight end in a crease and a hole in the defense. That wasn't a bite on play action.
41-yard line, 1st and 10. With a block by the guard, Jake Scott. And there is a tackle by Woolfolk. 2nd down, 5, 36-yard line. Clark is the slot receiver. James curling inside, tackled at about the 32, and on the play hit by Peter Sermon. Gain of 4.
You know, probably one of the most important players or people on the field today might be defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, who with Jeff Fisher has to maintain that patience against this offense of Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Another linebacker has come in, that's Boyman. Another defensive back has come in, that's Michael Waddell. Stokely is a 3rd receiver. 3rd and a long 1. Good block by Tarek Glenn. Pass is caught. That's Harrison spinning to the 24 and tackled on the play by Sermon. The 718th time that Harrison and Manning have hooked up. No quarterback receiver tandem has done so many times that kind of play in the history of the NFL.
Hey, I tell you something to keep track of too in this game is the left wrist of Marvin Harrison. He was out earlier in warmups, so basically what amounted to a cast on his left wrist. He kind of sprained his wrist a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like it's hindering him if he wears the cast. If he wears a splint, he's okay.
Game opening drive, 1st and 10, 25-yard line. And Manning hit by Odom as he throws to the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Reggie Wayne. On the game opening drive, a 25-yard strike from Peyton Manning to Reggie Wayne.
What did we say at the very beginning, Kevin? It's only a matter of time. And that was a Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts offense vintage 2004, not 2005. Working against Adam Jones, looking for the help over the top from Tank Williams, the safety. Reggie Wayne does a great job of taking advantage of a little confusion in the Tennessee defensive backfield and makes them pay with a touchdown.
Wayne gets his first touchdown reception of the season. The extra point is good by Mac Vanderjagt. Now Peyton Manning has 16 consecutive completions from the last game to this. And what a beauty here to start things off right for the Indianapolis Colts. Reggie Wayne's coming off a career year, 77 receptions a season ago. Just caught a 25-yard touchdown pass in which Manning was perfect on the game-opening drive. It's 7-0 Indianapolis. And now the kickoff by Dave Rayner. And Pac-Man Jones from the 12-yard line, the rookie from West Virginia. And he is brought down by Jason David as he crosses out to about the 38, a 26-yard return. So now what has Steve McNair got up his sleeve? He's a veteran. He's been here before. Peyton Manning just threw his third touchdown pass of the season. Looks now for his second possession and prepping for that on the sideline. From the 39, and after the Indianapolis opening drive touchdown pass, it's 1st and 10 for Steve McNair. And outside for his tight end, Aaron Kenny, brought down by North Carolina linebacker David Thornton. It's a gain of 3. He's to the 41.
Let's take a quick look. Here's Jones. Here's Reggie Wayne. What Jones is expecting is a little bit of help over the top from his safety, Tank Williams. Now when they stop it there, there's the duo. There's Williams. The help is late. And Tank Williams can't get there, and Adam Jones can't stay with him.
2nd down and 7. 2 tight ends. They had 3 receivers, and here comes Kenny, who is brought down by Thornton with the loss of a yard in the play. Travis Henry suspended earlier in the week, violating the drug abuse policy of the NFL. 3rd and 7 from the 41, and this is a strike for a first down pass to the tight end Ben Troop, who is out to the 50-yard line and gang tackled out there by Corey Simon, among others, and Marlon Jackson. It's a gain of 8 on 3rd and 7, and it is a first down at midfield.
Here's Troop right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Right here. Comes out of the, fakes a little help, little chip. You're going to see a lot of chipping on Dwight Freeney. Running backs and tight ends will be taking shots at Freeney, so he can't get a clean release on the outside of Hopkins. And in that case, it's enough of a hesitation to get Troop a nice little reception.
Still have the 2 tight ends. All the completions by McNair so far have been to tight ends from the 51st and 10. And McNair, here's Troop again, who is a second-round draft choice out of the University of Florida, brought down by Harper. He's grabbed at the 35. 15-yard gain, first down.
Kevin, when this new offense came in this year, this offseason with Norm Chow, who was with USC, it really emphasized things and put him in Steve McNair's lap. Just said, hey, Steve, this is your offense. They're your decisions. And facing a defense like the Indianapolis Colts right here, you're noticing all the passes to the tight ends. He'll get the wide receivers involved, but he's going for the quick, reliable passes to start this game.
Calico is coming as a wide receiver, 34-yard line. This is Chris Brown corkscrewing his way out of the grasp of Thornton.
Can you get down in this red zone nearly area and keep things consistent?
Because the Colts will jump on you. You're right if you make a mistake. 2nd down and 7. Chris Brown again, and drilled by Mike Doss, the former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year at Ohio State. It's about a 2-yard gain. He's to the 28.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with looking at these safeties for Indianapolis. And we talk about Freeney an awful lot, but between Doss and Sanders, they're peewee linebackers. They're linebackers that can run with wide receivers because they bring a serious smack. You see the comparison between McNair and Peyton, both off to hot starts.
29-yard line, 3rd and a short 5, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and Steve McNair on Tennessee's first drive today. Here comes Mathis. The pass away, and it's caught by Bo Skate, the rookie. He fumbles the ball, and it's loose. They're going to say he was down at about the 23-yard line on a gain of 6, facing 3rd and a short 5. They got the first down, or at least it would appear right now. Skate, the rookie out of Texas, gets the yardage.
What a great quick decision by Steve McNair. Had his back turned on the play action. As soon as he turns around for Jeff Fisher's offense, here comes Mathis. He dumps that thing off the Scaife like that, and you see the tight end reach with the ball. But watch his knee as he's reaching. He starts to be hit. It's down. Watch him reach with the ball. Where's the knee? Is he down? I don't know.
Ball's touching the 24.
That looks like a fumble to me.
So it's a first down.
Can't review it, but it looks like it.
And McNair. Nice knockdown inside. Turned in by Gary Brackett. It was a pass intended for Drew Bennett. It's incomplete, bringing up second down and 10. On this Tennessee opening drive of the game after Peyton Manning threw a 25-yard touchdown pass for the Colts.
One more time, remember, whistle down by contact. The official comes in from the side pointing to the ground. It's not going to be reviewable.
Rookie Brandon Jones is a wide receiver. 8th play of the drive. Second down and 10 from the 24. And Chris Brown from the University of Colorado tackled by Sanders as he slips his way to the 18. Picking up 6 right there.
For Drew Bennett for Tennessee, their top receiver, hasn't had a third down reception this season yet.
3rd and 4, 18-yard line. McNair caught by the rookie Brandon Jones out of Oklahoma and scoots his way to the 10-yard line. A flag is down on the play.
Now they're gonna call him down by contact right after the catch, Kevin.
It's a gain of 8.
16-yard line. It's 4th down.
Tackled by Jason David. Now it'll be a gain of 2 officially, not the gain of 8, but just a gain of 2.
See, at the tackle, that knee just popped down real quickly, but that knee popped down. As soon as that knee popped down, he was down.
So here is Rob Baronis, who has only missed 1 field goal this season. As long as 47. This will be from 34. On a drive that started back for the Tennessee Titans on their 39, they get 3 on the board. There were some big completions on that drive, and it was to Ben Troop of 15 and 8 yards from quarterback Steve McNair, who puts 3 on the board for the Titans. Both teams have had the football once. Both teams have scored with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Spectacular scenics high above Nashville, Tennessee. Rob Baronis will have it teed up at the 30-yard line. Colts come in 3-0. Titans come in 1-2. Deep back Rand Carthon and Corey Chapman. And with good hang time and again in the end zone, Rand Carthon will leave it right there. The 5th touchback for the young Rob Baronis this season, one amongst the best in the NFL. Manning will get it for a second time when we come back on CBS. 20-yard line after the touchback. Manning has thrown a touchdown pass. He faces 5 in the secondary on 1st and 10. And the tackle on Edgerrin James is made by Antoine Odom. It is a gain of 4 to the 24-yard line and a pretty nice streak put together by Peyton.
I'm going for that Burt Jones Colts record of 17, and you have to get into the 20s before you start threatening the NFL record. And there's Marvin Harrison. Keep an eye on that left wrist. There's a splinter of cast on that thing.
2nd down and 6, and Manning throws, and he finds his receiver, who is clobbered. That is the aforementioned Harrison, who is banged at the 26-yard line, hit by a host of players, including Lamont Thompson. It is a meager gain of 2, and Andre Woolfolk, a former #1 pick out of Oklahoma, is a little bit woozy.
Well, Harrison was the intended target. Woolfolk was the recipient of the contact.
So we have an injury timeout with 4:10 to play in the first quarter. Peyton Manning has completed and converted 17 consecutive passes, ties a Colts record that goes back to the last game. 3rd down and 4 from the 26. Beckham has taken the place of Woolfolk in the secondary. Hit as he throws, incomplete, almost picked off. Sermon was right there. The intended receiver was Dallas Clark, and the Colts have got to punt the ball, and Manning goes incomplete for the first time in 18 passes.
The inside pressure was Odom and Vanden Bosch. Look at Vanden Bosch coming off the bottom of your screen. He drives right through, and he makes Peyton Manning cross his own legs, and he can't follow through and can't get the oomph on the ball he needs for that completion. So that streak ends at 17 in a row.
Hunter Smith will punt, one of the best in the business. And deep back Andre Thurman, who is cut by the Green Bay Packers with good hang time here. Thurman from the 20-yard line. And dancing his way into the grasp of Morris. Then he gets a block and sheds him. And then the long snapper Snow is there among others for the Indianapolis Colts. Flag is down. The hang time, a good hang time, is 4.5. Hunter Smith was 4.52.
Well, the early flag, I believe, is going to be a block in the back. The late flag might be an unsportsmanlike conduct for a low block, a chop block away from the play. Because there was a cut block about the middle of the field, which is a good 20 yards away from where the ball was.
It was a 55-yard punt, and a 5-yard return by Thurman. As the officials discuss things here in Nashville, our referee today is the veteran Walt Anderson. 3rd year in the NFL as a referee, longtime official in the league. His crew worked the AFC Championship game last season, so this is a terrific crew working here in Nashville today.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, low block, number 32 of the receiving team. That foul occurred during the return and it is declined. During the kick, holding number 28 of the receiving team. That penalty is accepted, will be enforced half the distance from the goal from the end of the kick. It would be first down Tennessee, timeout.
So the Colts just punt, and Steve McNair readies for his 2nd time with the offense today in Tennessee. Manning has thrown a touchdown pass, and on the first possession, Baronis kicked a field goal for the Titans.
This is the most important part of the field, to be conservative, to be mistake-free. We talk about the red zone on the other end always being so critical. When you're backed up, a mistake usually equals points for the other guy.
Jones becomes the 3rd receiver from the 10. McNair, 1st and 10. And it looked like somebody moved.
False start, number 71, offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
You know, Randy, the Titans have had to dismantle much of the high-priced roster in a salary cap purge. Samari Rolle is gone. Derek Mason is gone. This is the youngest team in the NFL.
And at times they play like it. You see all the penalties that have been made for Jeff Fisher's football team. But last week they started making mistakes. And they showed such a character rebound coming back the way they did against the St. Louis Rams is why I think they're going to play so well today.
Character is a good word to use. 1st and 15, and the slither-like moves of Chris Brown take him out to the 10 before he is brought down by Brackett. It's a gain of 5.
Almost seductive moves, actually.
Yeah.
But this running game, I should say, for Tennessee, you have to concentrate on the middle of their line. You look at Pillar and Hartwig and Benji Olsen. That is the strength. The 2 guards in the center are the core of this running game and protection for Steve McNair.
2nd down and 10 from the 10-yard line. Brown again, the 2nd all-time leading rusher at the University of Colorado, brought down by David. 17-yard line, 3rd and along 2 with a couple of tight ends. Rolling is Steve McNair, the best rushing quarterback in the NFL since 1997. Shows you why. He's to the 26-yard line, and he picks up 9 yards on the play. Here's the interesting thing about McNair, Randy. He has not been running all that much, which is so different than what we have seen over the last couple years with this great running quarterback.
Well, remember last year, though, Kevin, he missed all those games with that separated sternum. They took that bone off his hip and put that football-shaped piece of bone on his chest. He's healed up. He's as healthy as he's been, he says, since that Super Bowl season in '99. So look for him to do more of this when defenses run off with his receivers and give him just a flat 9-10 yard chunk. 2
tight ends again. He gets the first down to the 26-yard line on the 2nd possession for the Titans today. McNair to Scaife, who battled a couple of ACLs at Texas but still made first team all Big 12. 2nd down and 5 from the Tennessee 31. They began this drive back at their 10. Then Brown again. He was devoured by Monte Reagor, the ex-Denver Bronco. Gain of 4 near the 35.
It's really a tempting thing for the Tennessee offense to look at some of the defensive fronts that the Colts give them. They rotate so many defensive linemen, and don't forget, a couple weeks ago, all they picked up was Corey Simon, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. But when they give you this over and under look, and we'll explain what that is in a little bit here, it leaves gaps, and it leaves what looks to be an undermanned defense in front of you. But there are so many safeties and linebackers filling in this defense that is really a deceptive thing.
Josh Thomas and Mathis have come in on the Colts defensive line. 3rd and 1, couple tight ends and movement. Looked like maybe Hopkins, the left tackle, moved as he pleads his case.
You know what he's pleading? The Colts have been known to yell.
False start, number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And this is a little gamesmanship on the part, of the Indianapolis Colts, but they're known, and here's Hopkins right there, line up that left tackle. They're known to scream a little bit. And they might be screaming something that happens to be close to your snap count on occasion and makes offensive linemen move. It's not a condoned thing in the league, it just happens.
That's the end of the first quarter, which moved rapidly. Leading it off was Peyton Manning, as we have some shoving as we conclude the first quarter. Peyton Manning threw a 25-yard touchdown pass. And the undefeated Indianapolis Colts at the end of one in Nashville lead it 7-3 on CBS.
There's John Turling, the defensive line coach of the Colts. He's the mind behind that rotating defensive line that plays so well right now for the Colts.
We start the second quarter with a 3rd and 6 for McNair at his own 30-yard line. Second possession for the Titans. And McNair outside, caught by Troy Fleming, the fullback, upended by Jason David. Picks up 3 out to the 34-yard line, shy of the first down. And the Tennessee Titans have got a punt.
Good protection, but better coverage down the field. Steve McNair's got nowhere to go to his wide receivers. That's why you're seeing him dump so many passes off to these tight ends. They're absolutely taking Drew Bennett right now out of the game and saying, beat us with one of the other wide receivers.
Craig Hendrick to punt, the 35-year-old punter from Notre Dame. Gets off a high hanging punt. And over there is Walters, who a flag is down, who lets it bounce right in front of him. The hang time at almost 5 seconds. 39-yard punt as it stands right now.
You're going to have a little holding, I believe, on the Colts. That usually comes on a gunner, those outside guys running down the field.
Exactly.
That job nobody wants.
With the opportunity to make a catch. Number 36, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, 1st down, it's timeout.
That's Dexter Reed, who played last year with the New England Patriots and got a couple starts. Manning's touchdown pass has the Colts on top 7-3. The defending AFC South champion Colts on top. Titans come in 1-2 on the Tennessee side. Randy, blown out week 1 by Pittsburgh. They beat Baltimore here. They played well last week in St. Louis.
Well, that's a huge penalty on Waddell, number 36, for hindering that catch, because now you give Peyton Manning the ball on the 43-yard line.
There are 2 tight ends from the 43 for Peyton Manning. 3rd Indianapolis possession. The wobbly pass is grabbed by Harrison, who is drilled by Lamont Thompson. It's a pickup of 15 yards. He's to the 42-yard line. It's a Colts 1st down.
We catch a little bit of a bobble here in this catch by Marvin Harrison. We mentioned to you that left wrist has got what looks to be a cast on it. He catches a nice little blast in the back from Thompson too, but Harrison always seems to be more of a body catcher than a hand catcher anyway.
The 2 tight ends remain. 42, 1st and 10. Edgerrin James, the 2-time NFL rushing champion, brought down by Pac-Man Jones. It's a gain of 9, and he tumbles ahead to about the 33.
And Marvin Harrison earlier today, he was out at warm-ups, and we just took a look at this. You see the cast on his wrist, and it's okay when he's going to the other direction, but when he's coming this way, as you can tell, the ball bounces around a little bit off of that cast/splint.
He's the 6th all-time receiver in the history of the NFL. 2nd down and 1, 33-yard line. Edgerrin James. He gets by Starks. He turns the corner. He's tackled by Thompson. And as he wheels around, he is close to the 23 and a gain of 10.
Number 63.
Flag is down.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the center, Jeff Saturday.
Well, it's a tripping penalty on Saturday, and that's back-to-back stretch plays. And no one in the NFL runs that play better than the Indianapolis Colts. The guy to watch is right here in the middle, Jeff Saturday. Watch as it opens up right here. See that leg whip comes across and gets that defensive lineman in the thigh. They eliminated that play several years ago. I'll put it that way.
43-yard line, second down 11. They need the 32 of Tennessee. Two tight ends again, Fletcher and Dallas Clark in tight. Play action by Manning. Here comes Starks. There's the pass, uncatchable by James. They also had Ryan Long, who came in too and belted Manning as he let that ball go.
They got a flag down on the field. I'm not sure if that might not be on the Colts for
illegal
pushing
contact.
Off.
Number 32, defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Adam Jones again.
And
he's going to be Adam until he does something right. Then maybe we'll go to that other name. But in further notice, he's Adam. You earn your marketing rights later.
He's been beaten on a touchdown pass today. He's had a couple of penalties thrown against him in his first NFL start. He was the first defensive player chosen in the 2005 draft.
Did you notice the lack of bite on the play action by Tennessee? And Peyton had nowhere to go. He's looking for a big play down the field.
38-yard line of the Titans. It is 1st and 10. Clark is in the slot. James again, got by Starks again. And he's brought down by the former Outland Trophy winner from Washington State, Ryan Long. Gain of 4 to the 34. Edgerrin James, number 4 in rushing last year, number 4 in rushing so far this year.
It bears mentioning through 3.5 games almost now, Peyton Manning has not been sacked yet.
Will focus back in. He was injured in the last series. Second down and 6. They're at the 34.
Much more aggressive looking defense here. This is a play, this is the defense he can take shots at.
James and a block from Fletcher. And a tackle made by Long, close to a first down, a gain of 5. And he's to the 29-yard line, still about a yard shy.
Yeah, one thing Peyton talked about yesterday when we met with him at their hotel was, you know, everybody's dissecting this offense and saying it's because it's a soft defense and it's because of the offense is being just slightly off.
What do you think?
Well, the one thing he brought up that I found intriguing more than anything else is Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, is calling more third down plays. They're not getting those big chunks on first and second down. They're just having to be more efficient and effective, and so far they have not been.
4 down defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, including Boyman, 3 in the secondary. 3rd and 1 for Manning from the gun. And he's got the first down with Dallas Clark scooping it up and tackled on the far side by Tank Williams. It's a gain of 8. On 3rd and 1, he's to the 21, and the Colts will move the chains.
You have to love what Tom Moore does offensively for Peyton Manning in this offense. He schemes defenses so well. Dallas Clark was lined up on the outside. Wide receiver runs inside, goes around him. He comes around the wide receiver and is wide open for the first down.
Now the basic alignment defensively. It's 1st and 10. Handoff goes to James. Stood up by Sermon and belted by Vanden Bosch. It's a gain of 4, and he's to the 17. Well, they're in the red zone, are the Indianapolis Colts, and they rank 27th in this category.
And so far, look at the defense. See the deep safeties? That's kind of a cover 2. That's a softer defense. Seeing a lot of this against the Colts. In the red zone, that means run for the Colts.
Rand Carthon is in the backfield. 2nd down and 6, incomplete to Harrison. Coverage on the play, turned in by Andre Wolfel.
And one of the reasons that should mean run for the Colts is you've got 7 people back in coverage, only 4 people rushing, and you've got very tight coverage. You're going to have to be so accurate and so lucky to get completions against this defense. You're better off running it down here in the red zone.
Michael Waddell is a 5th defensive back. Boyman is the nickel linebacker. Clark is in the slot for Manning. 3rd and 6. They need the Tennessee 12. Carthon is at the side of Manning. Manning throws. It's caught on a dive. Picked up by Harrison. Tackled by Lamont Thompson. He's down to the 9-yard line. On a 3rd and 6, he picks up 9 on the play.
You know, I'm talking about this type of softer defense. See this 4 defensive backs lining up right here. 4 DBs. That means you're going to get 7 people dropping, only 4 people rushing. Patience by Peyton Manning, because you're only going to be able to get the little chunks.
James is back in the backfield on 1st and goal with a block by Fletcher. Here's Edgerrin James slicing his way down to the 2-yard line and picks up a hard-earned 7 yards.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're going to try to run an offense against a defense that's a cover 2, Tony Dungy practically patented that defense in Tampa. And right now, Tom Moore and their offensive football team are putting on a little bit of a clinic against Jim Schwartz's kind of softened up 2-man deep type of defense.
On that line, they've got Starks and Long, Antoine Odom, Vanden Bosch, Schobel, 2nd and goal at the 2, 10-play drive. Edgerrin James. He was brought down from the side with little or no gain. Looked like Ryan Long came in there and belted him. It'll be another goal-to-go situation. 3rd and goal.
Something you don't talk about enough when you talk about Edgerrin James, though, is his power, how powerful he is. He was hit by Long. He was hit by 2 or 3 Titans. He still got back to the line of scrimmage because there wasn't much blocking up there in the middle for him.
5 defensive linemen. It's 3rd and goal at the 1. 3 tight ends. The stretch handoff to James, who slips. And I'll tell you who made that play work so well was Tank Williams. It's a loss of 2 on the play. He was gang tackled, but Tank Williams coming off the corner shut the door.
Edgerrin James on the stretch, as dangerous as anybody in the league, but look at Tank Williams coming up, like you said. Penetration up the field makes Edgerrin James cut the ball back. And when you cut back into that defense, there's at least 5 guys waiting for you.
So a victory of sorts by the Tennessee defense. It was 1st and goal, and they hold Manning and the offense out of the end zone and relegate him to a 3-point try.
You can hold this offense to a field goal after giving the ball on the 43-yard line. This is a victory.
And the Colts are up 10-3. 7-17 second quarter. Good job by the Titan defense. Completions 9 yards to Harrison and 15 yards to Harrison on that drive.
Those are words that don't go together well, it seems. 12-play drive and Indianapolis Colts, but if you're a Colt fan, you're used to it now. Last season, 4 the whole year so far, already 5 12-plus drives.
Here is the rookie from Michigan State, Dave Rayner, with the kick. 15-yard line, Pac-Man Jones, and grabbed and brought down by fellow rookie out of Michigan, Marlon Jackson. A hard-hitting Wolverine. 11-yard return. Manning with the touchdown pass, field goals on both sides. It's the Colts by 7. 65th consecutive sellout here at the Coliseum with Super Bowl champion Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Great to have you with us today in Nashville. This is the 3rd possession for Tennessee. They punted the last time from the 27. Steve McNair, 1st and 10. Chris Brown, who gained 1,000 yards last year, upended by Sanders. It's a gain of 2. Mark him at the 29. And what about McNair on this drive just before halftime, Randy?
The same thing as always. I think I talked about them being medieval, and they've been a little medieval so far. Nothing really to the wide receivers, mainly tight ends and running the ball. There's nothing wrong with this as long as you don't make the mistakes. 2nd
down and 8 from the 28, and this is Brown running to the side and then brought down by Corey Simon, who we really haven't talked about, the 03 Pro Bowler for Philadelphia. Gain of 3 right there. He was let go in a contract dispute, and by gosh, look who got him, but the defensive star of Colts.
Well, and Tony Dungy and the Colts were absolutely stunned, I think, and what that really meant was Bill Polian and the guys in the front office had to get those calculators out and figure out not really the salary cap implications this year, but look down to next year and the year after, and how does it affect how they can sign their own guys that are about to be free agents. They did a great job.
They did indeed. From the 33. It's 3rd down and 5, and here is McNair. It's dropped by Kenny, who is covered by Brackett. 3 and out, and a second consecutive punt coming up for the Tennessee Titans.
See, it doesn't have to be a fumble or a jump off sides to be a mistake. It can be a drop. Kenny's looking at the ball and kind of fighting it. He's not looking to where he's going to go, but that keeps the drive alive. That lets you keep being medieval and hold on to this ball, and it keeps the ball away from the Indianapolis Colts.
2-time Pro Bowler Craig Hendrick will punt. Not much breeze inside the stadium today. Walter, the ex-Viking, signaling for and allotted a fair catch at the 24. Hang time 4.8 seconds. Hendrick has put up a couple of boomers. 45-yard punt. All right, Manning and the Colts get it back. All along with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Manning a touchdown pass, couple field goals both ways, 10-3. This is the 4th Colts offensive possession today, starting at their 24, 1st and 10 for Manning. 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time MVP. Good fake. Here comes the defense of Tennessee, and the pass is caught by Harrison, working on Woolfolk, a gain of about 9, and he's out to about the 33. Great pressure up the middle from Jared Klaus on that Tennessee defensive line on Peyton Manning.
And that flushed Peyton Manning out, Kevin, and so far in this game we've seen absolute balance out of Tom Moore's offense being run by Peyton Manning. We have 11 runs and 11 passes.
2nd down, 33-yard line. Edgerrin James. The franchise tag placed on him. Backpedals into Pac-Man Jones at the 40 on a gain of 7. They couldn't come to a contract agreement, but they're going to pay him the franchise number, which is $8.1 million.
And he's handled it extremely well. You got to give this guy credit too. You know, nowadays we do have several athletes in this league that can't help running their mouth about contracts, either in a good or a positive way or a negative way.
Colts have 3 timeouts. It's 1st and 10, and he is devoured inside by Kyle Vanden Bosch, the ex-Arizona Cardinal. It's a loss of 1, and he's pushed back to the 39. Well, throughout the day at the top of your screen, you're going to see stat tracks after every play, updating stats on the players in this game, like Kyle Vanden Bosch. Game tracks at the bottom keeps you up to date on other games and scores and performances in the NFL.
We got sacks now and game tracks.
We got all kinds of stuff.
Stat tracks. Oh, really?
Yeah. 2nd down and 10, just at the 40-yard line. Manning with good time, and the throw caught for a 2nd time today by Brian Fletcher, a former 6th-round pick by Chicago, went to the Bears practice squad, then a Tennessee practice squad, and here he is after a stint in NFL Europe this past summer, picking up 15.
And the great thing about this play here by Peyton Manning is he takes advantage of a nice matchup with Fletcher and Brad Castle, the middle linebacker, with the defensive backs flying off the ball with the wide receivers. It's leaving things pretty nice and comfy underneath for the tight end.
Comfy is a good word to use. They're down to the 45 with that completion to Fletcher, where it's 1st and 10. Edgerrin James tripped up initially by Travis LeBoy on the defensive line after a gain of 2. Officially at the 43, where it's 2nd down and 8. The snap from Jeff Saturday out of North Carolina. Outside to Edgerrin James. Dancing with Sermon, who makes the grab, tripping him up. He's down to the 39, picking up 4 yards.
Got a late flag down.
Late, you better believe
and Reggie Wayne doesn't have his helmet on as he's jawing with Adam Jones. I don't know if it was removed by Adam Jones or if Reggie Wayne did it himself, but
what if he called him Adam and not Pac-Man? That's a big deal here.
After the play, taunting, number 32, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That is the 3rd penalty on Pac-Man Jones. You hear the boos cascading down. He held out for 31 days of training camp in a contract dispute, and he's talked a lot of bluster in the press here in Nashville since he's arrived in the NFL.
And Reggie Wayne mentioned yesterday when we talked to him about, I'm going to get in the guy's head. I'm going to try to talk to him, see if he'll answer me. Well, obviously he got the reply he wanted.
Pac-Man Jones playing as a starter for the first time. He had bobbled back and forth with Tony Beckham the last 2 games. It's a 1st down, 24-yard line. Colts moving again. The fake to Rand Carthon. And Manning to the end zone and incomplete for Reggie Wayne, who is tailed by Pac-Man into Pater. Incomplete.
He got the answer he wanted from Adam Jones, and then he absolutely ripped his lip going fishing. He gives him a stutter and go on that play. Peyton Manning missed a touchdown because Reggie Wayne was wide open. Not kind of open, wide open.
Reggie Wayne caught the first touchdown pass today. That was Travis LeBoy, by the way, that came in and nailed Manning low. 8th play of the drive, 2nd down and 10. The drive began back at the 24 of the Indianapolis Colts. Manning short, ran Carthon. His dad is Maurice Carthon, the ex-Giant. Tackle made by Keith Bullock. The gain is to the 14. It is a first down. It's a pickup of 10. So on this drive, 9 yards to Harrison, 15 to Fletcher, and they got 10 right there to Carthon.
And it's all about that effort by Carthon driving through. He saw where that marker was on that side, and that's a football kid. I mean, that's a guy that grew up in a football family. Maurice Carthon now the offensive coordinator for Bill Parcells down in Dallas, and things come naturally for guys like that, and he naturally went for that first down.
One of 4 unbeaten teams, the Indianapolis Colts, with a Manning touchdown pass lead 10-3 and threatening again. The Colts are threatening at the 2-minute warning. They've got 3 timeouts. They lead on a Manning touchdown pass.
They clean up something on Rand Carthon, too. His dad's in Cleveland now. He was the coordinator
was in Dallas. That's right.
But he's still a football kid.
He's a great. Your point was well taken. So it is a first down. 9th play of the drive. They're at the 13-yard line. James is at the side of Manning. There's a block by Ryan Dean. And now here comes a wallop handed out by Antoine Odom. It's still a gain of 3.
Yeah, not a sack.
Nope. So he is still without a sack all season, speaking of Manning.
And that's something you don't see from Peyton Manning very often. They're such good coverage down the field, he literally became a runner. He may not have known it at the time, but he became a runner.
11-yard line, 2nd down and 7. Manning, and that is incomplete to Dallas Clark, covered by Sermon. Now look at the secondary, and look at the entire Tennessee defense. It is still their base 4-3 defense. They've not added an extra linebacker nor a defensive back except for right now.
Look at them now. How many guys are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 7 guys inside the 5-yard line just a moment ago. All they're doing is getting back, getting a picket line, and anybody comes through there, they're covering them.
Okay, now they put in their nickel defense. They brought in Waddell as a 5th defensive back. They got their nickel linebacker in there, and that is Boyman.
3 rushers, 8 covering.
3rd down and 7 from the 11 for Peyton Manning. To the end zone and caught for a touchdown. It's Marvin Harrison. That is the 100th touchdown reception of his soon-to-be Hall of Fame career.
And we talk all the time about the windows in a defense. Peyton Manning just put a rocket through a porthole. That was an absolutely textbook pass to Marvin Harrison, his 3rd catch on 3rd down today. That one for his 100th career touchdown.
And now 84 times Manning and Harrison have hooked up on a touchdown pass, 2nd all-time in the history of the National Football League.
Remember, this is a defense with 8 guys, Kevin, dropping to cover, and Manning and Harrison still takes advantage.
Marvin Harrison has just lassoed his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. Peyton Manning has thrown his 2nd touchdown pass of the day against the Tennessee defense.
And that was a perfect completion in the 2nd window by one of the greatest touchdown tandems in the history of this league. Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Hall of Fame. One's already there, one's on his way. Both on their way. Sneaking up on the greatest touchdown combination in the history of this league are Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison.
That was an 11-play drive. That follows a 12-play drive. Manning 2 touchdown passes. Pac-Man Jones at the 6-yard line, getting the Rainer Indianapolis kickoff and breaking his way around, weaving his way through traffic, and finally brought fumble on the play, and it's loose at the 39. Looks like Tennessee has jumped back on the ball. Giordano was the man to make the tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. 33-yard return.
You're going down, you've got to think ball, and Giordano rips that thing right out. Man.
Each team with 3 timeouts remaining. Mark the ball officially at the 38. This is the 4th Tennessee possession today. They've punted the last 2 times they've had the ball.
That actually was Keith O'Neal, 53, that ripped that ball out of there. He's the son of Ed O'Neal, the old Packer.
Yes, exactly.
Came by me the other day and was talking about playing those old Packer Niner games back in Milwaukee. Does that date you or what?
Very much so. Base 4-3 defense for the Colts. It's 1st down and 10 for McNair. And looking for his second option, which is the rookie from Oklahoma, Brandon Jones. Run out of bounds by Sanders. It's a 20-yard reception, a good catch and run, and he's down to the 37-yard line. Make it the 42.
Well, you talked about looking for options. There's 1 option, pump, 2 options, pump, 3 option, all the way back to the other side of the field. Make no mistake, folks, we talk about quarterbacks seeing the whole field all the time. But rarely do you have to throw all the way back across the field that late. That is just good improv and a receiver staying with his quarterback.
42-yard line. It is a 1st and 10 for Steve McNair. And he'll go deep, and he's looking for Jones, and it's incomplete. He had beaten on the coverage Mike Doss in the secondary. That Jones a pretty good athlete. In fact, so much so that he was drafted by the New York Yankees while in high school.
Hey, remember, Kevin, Drew Bennett's been sort of the guy here and the big weapon, and everyone's waiting to see who the next guy that McNair develops this chemistry with becomes the other threat. And this young guy out of Oklahoma, and what a receiver group they had at Oklahoma last year, is really starting to grow into that role.
Marlon Jackson is a 5th defensive back for the Indianapolis Colts. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 42. Here comes McNair, who's already got an 8-yard gain under his belt today. Breaks a tackle of Cato June and then flies out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It's a 12-yard run. He is coming off, Randy, a 3-game span where he has rushed for the least amount of yards over his entire career. Today he's got a 12-yard gain and a 8-yard gain under his belt.
Takes a nice little flip there, but this is what Steve McNair can now do again. We talk about feeling like a kid again. Well, he doesn't feel like he belongs in a MASH unit anymore.
Right.
I mean, he feels like a regular football player again.
Tennessee has 3 timeouts. That's the field goal kicker, Rob Baronis. From the 30-yard line, it is 1st and 10 for the Titans. Late in the first half. McNair incomplete, looking for Drew Bennett, the former UCLA quarterback. It is 2nd down and 10.
Bennett still shut out, no catches. Take a look at some of this defense we've seen today. It's been pretty fun to watch.
5 in the secondary, 2 tight ends from the 30. 2nd down and 10 for McNair. And going deep and looking for Bennett. It's intercepted on the ricochet, picked up by Bob Sanders, and they're going to say he is down at the 1-yard line, maybe the 2, and Bennett with the reception, shockingly.
They're calling that a reception and that he was down. And that's just pure faith, and Drew Bennett should go over and get a big hug from Steve McNair, because Steve McNair threw that ball way up in the air, and he just went up on the ladder and got it.
That is a terrific catch. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
Yeah, but did he ever have it? That's the issue. Does he ever actually have possession of this ball?
It may be incomplete. You're exactly right.
I'm not sure if he ever had possession. If anything,
it's an interception.
It's an interception. Does he have it? Is it out?
Never touched the ground.
It's a nice little Christmas present there. Remember, this is the last under the inside of 2 minutes, so this will be reviewed up in the booth.
No.
Not in a challenge situation.
This is the first charge timeout, Indianapolis. This is the first timeout. The ruling on the field was a catch. The runner was down by contact.
And this is a little gamesmanship by Tony Dungy because he knows where he is on the clock. And if he gives the booth a little bit longer to look at it, he's hoping he'd get a review here.
And he's only burned his first time out. He's got 22 seconds to play in the first half.
But again, just watch what happens here. The ball is in his hands. Does he ever actually have possession before that thing rattles out? And you know what? I honestly don't know if he ever had it. I don't think he had possession. I think that ended up being a fumble.
Or an interception.
I mean,
it's
interception, yeah.
And that is Bob Sanders' first career interception, if indeed it is overturned.
If I was Jeff Fisher, I'd be trying to run the climb out.
Yes. Get back out there and snap the ball. The ball never hit the ground. It hit the body and was kicked up by his other leg, and when it was on the ricochet, Sanders was right there to grab it. And Sanders is kind of an acrobatic guy to begin with, too. Here's a kid who grew up in Pennsylvania, and for grins, he used to do backflips off his garage, off the top of his garage.
Well, that's part acrobat and part what the heck are you thinking?
Part X Games guy.
But the ball's right down here on the 2.5, 3-yard line, and what a great play for the Tennessee Titans.
That ball never hit the ground. Now they're going to stop it. Yep, you could see this coming. The officials have stopped play.
Walt Anderson heading over to the hood. So it is now officially being reviewed. And really, the key thing here, Kevin, is during this catch, and you see him when he first goes up, he kind of bats it to himself. Then he brings it in, and he briefly has it in his hand, it would look, on his stomach. But I'm not sure if that ball ever at any time stops moving.
And never hit the ground.
Yeah, and then it bats off his legs and goes up into Bob Sanders' hands.
The only question would be is when Sanders had it, did he touch a part of Bennett, thus he would be down when he was still down, when Sanders was still down?
Well, they can't just give him the ball and let him start running.
Right.
So, I mean, the spot is going to be right. So
right.
Either way, the ball's going to be about there.
Right, exactly.
It's just an issue of which team's going to have the ball.
But I'm almost, I mean, he was racing the other way, and who knows how far he could have gone. What an alert play by Sanders.
Oh, and let's give Billy Smith, our back judge, credit, too. I mean, he was right there. It was a very definitive action. He came from behind those goalposts, and he was right there pointing at the ground.
Well, this was a well-constructed drive by McNair. He had a 20-yard completion to Brandon Jones, his rookie from Oklahoma, and then he himself had run it 12 yards for a first down on a drive that began back at the 38. As you take a look at Tony Dungy, and of course there's Drew Bennett.
And I think if that pass was one rung lower on the ladder, he had to go up to get it. It's a reception because he snags it right away. And that's our back judge Billy Smith there talking to Tony Dungy. One more time, same thing. Right now, does he have it? I don't think the ball ever stops moving. Comes off his legs, bounces up into Bob Sanders' hands. In my mind, this has got to be 1st and 10. Indy coming out with 22 seconds to go here in the second quarter.
Never hit the ground, never was caught, and the alert Bob Sanders vacuumed it in.
Backflips off his garage roof.
10 feet high.
And for you kids at home watching this game, pretend you didn't hear that.
Don't. Well, they've got a ruling, and we'll see what it is. And I don't think the crowd here in the Coliseum is going to like it.
After reviewing the play, the football never touches the ground, is loose, and is intercepted by Indianapolis. Because the whistle blew, the ball is dead where Indianapolis gained possession at the 2-yard line. First down.
And Bob Sanders has his first
game clock.
Bob Sanders has his first career interception. He is 2 years out of Iowa.
There's something a little different for you too, Kevin. There's 29 seconds left. If you're Jeff Fisher and you've got 3 timeouts left in this situation and the Colts backed up like this, I mean, you can use timeouts, make them punt, and get the ball back with some decent field position. if you can hem them in and keep them inside the 5 yards.
That's a good point. Well, in this game, which features the 2 top sackers in the National Football League, Vanden Bosch of Tennessee and Freeney of the Colts, 2 former MVPs who won it the same year in the 2003 season, McNair, and you can see Peyton Manning. It's had a lot going on so far. Manning has thrown a couple touchdown passes, and on 1st and 10, Edgerrin James creeps his way for 3 near the 5. And they're not going to use it. Well, now Fisher calls the timeout with 22 seconds to play in the first half. And we'll pause as well from Nashville. 22 seconds remaining in the first half. They rewound the clock and put it to 29 seconds. They added time. They added the 7 seconds to the clock as they sorted out the, was it an interception? Was it a reception?
And remember the old idea at the end of a half end to get you fair catch, free kick. Barones has got a big leg.
2nd down and 7. With a run by Edgerrin James and brought down on the play by Peter Sermon. And they're going to let the clock run down.
Now it's a moot point getting the first down.
It is. He gets the first down. Peyton Manning has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Bob Sanders had his first career interception. We've had field goals both ways. And the Indianapolis Colts, one of 4 unbeatens, on top 17-3 at halftime. To New York, after this message, you're watching the NFL on.
They've got some serious coverage problems on their defensive side of the ball, and offensively they've stopped themselves with drops and other little things like that. I just think it's a matter of Jeff Fisher and his football team going into the locker room at halftime and saying, look, we've got to stop helping them. This team's playing too good to help.
Through 30 minutes of football, here are some of our numbers.
And the penalty yards, to me, really stand out, you know, as something that's pretty out of whack. Good example, that one field goal. You went from having the ball on about the 18-yard line if you're Indianapolis, and with that penalty, you suddenly had it on the 43-yard line.
Let's take a look at our fantasy notebook.
Well, it's only a fantasy for you, really, if you've got any of the guys with the horseshoe on their helmet on your fantasy team. Peyton Manning, who has struggled this year in the first half, breaking out and having a great first half, as did Edgerrin James. That stretch play is working to perfection. And Reggie Wayne should have had another touchdown. There should have been another touchdown on the board right there, because he had Adam Jones turned all the way around and about 10 yards behind him.
Dave Rayner has the ball teed up, and there is Pac-Man Jones, the rookie making his first start today. Fellow rookie out of Michigan State, Dave Rayner, only for kickoffs, boots it, and from the 1-yard line, this is Pac-Man Jones. And he is shoved out of bounds, 27-yard line. Robert Mathis escorts him away, a 25-yard return.
Remember the whole idea after 3 games, the emphasis here in Indianapolis was all about defense, and that defense was holding teams under 10 points. And it's been since the '62 Green Bay Packers that a team has done that for 3 games in a row and then won their 4th game. But since the Super Bowl era, since another set of Packer teams won a couple Super Bowls, no one's ever done that 3 weeks in a row, then won the next week. But Ron Meeks' team's trying to do that.
It is 1st down and 10 from the 26-yard line for Steve McNair, who gets a block from Chris Brown and has to dump it on the fly. And it's Drew Bennett, who is tackled on the play by Mike Doss at the 40-yard line. It is a 13-yard pickup and a 1st down.
That's Drew Bennett's first catch of the day. I believe that's his first one. They've thrown 3 or 4 to him, but 4th ball to him, first completion.
Line stays the same to begin the second half. Hopkins, Pillar, Hartwig, Olsen, and Roos. Defensive line stays the same with Raheem Brock and Corey Simon, Monte Rager, Dwight Freeney. 1st and 10. Across the middle, this is Aaron Kenny. He's tackled by Cato June, hit by Thornton. Brackett is the third linebacker, and the secondary stays the same to begin the second half. For the Colts, the gain is to the 47. It's a gain of 8.
And this was the tune, Kevin, we were listening to at the beginning of the first half with this Titans offense. McNair was being patient. He was placing the ball, and he was completing passes. And it's what Tennessee needs to do. Don't get out of your own little box. Because if you're a young team, and they're the youngest team in the league, you get out of the box, things don't go right for you.
Brandon Jones, the rookie, is the other receiver with Bennett. Second down and 2. And a hard hit on Chris Brown by Simon and Brackett. They shut the door, throwing him for a 1-yard loss back to the 46.
And for all the talk of the front four and how great the defensive line has done, Tony Dungy was quick to point out that Brackett and Thornton and Cato June, the other outside linebacker, have really grown exponentially as football players and been a real key to the success of his defense this year.
Fifth defensive back has come in, the rookie Marlon Jackson. Mathis has taken the place of Simon on the line. Third down and 3, 2 tight ends for McNair from the 46. He's hit and brought down by Robert Mathis. That is the first sack of McNair today. Mathis records his 4th sack of the season. It will force a Tennessee punt.
And it all happens because of the coverage down the field. Mathis coming, from around the backside. He just eventually just gets underneath, but McNair's got nowhere to go. And by the time Roos loses Mathis inside, Steve McNair's gotten to the point where he's starting to run.
Former Green Bay Packer Craig Hendrick will punt the ball. Walters is deep back and signaling for a fair catch at about the 30. Another good hang time of 4.5 seconds. A 30-yard punt. A look at Mathis, who just had the sack for the Colts. That's a good line. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, 31-yard line after the Tennessee punt. Manning has thrown a couple touchdowns today. 1st and 10, Edgerrin James. Patiently following the block of Dallas Clark. He takes it to the 42, where he was hit hard by Vanden Bosch. 11-yard gain. First down to the 42.
The great thing about watching this running back is he's running stairs. You've seen running stairs? See the patience? He's down, he's over. He's down, he's over. He's down, he's over. Then he's just down. But I mean, that's not using your sprint, your speed. That's using your head.
2 tight ends, 1st and 10, 42-yard line. No changes on the defensive line for Tennessee to begin the second half. This is James picking and poking his way, then brought down by Bullock. It's a gain of about 9 on the play. The gain is to the 49-yard line of the Tennessee Titans.
There's a theme for these first half possessions that tie into the first possession of the second half here. Remember, we've been talking about that cover 2 softer defense with 7 guys in the box and 4 guys back. That's a defense you want to run against. Well, you've seen the last 2 plays. You've really seen the running game, and especially the stretch play with the running backs of the Indianapolis Colts, specifically Edgerrin James, really taking advantage of not having that 8th guy in the box.
Rand Carthon has taken the place of James, 49-yard line, second down 1. And this is the undrafted player, Rand Carthon, brought down by Antoine Odom. The gain of 3, and it's his first down. Glenn Lilja Saturday, Jake Scott, and Ryan Deem, Randy, begin the second half on the offensive line for the Colts.
Now, if you're Rand Carthon, Edgerrin James gets to run the stretch plays. The young guy comes in, they blast him into the line. So you give the All-Pro, the Pro Bowler a rest, and we'll just bludgeon you inside a little bit.
3 consecutive runs by the Colts. They're at the 47. It's 1st and 10. Their first second half drive. Good block by Deem. Manning's got time. And that is the top receiver, Harrison, brought down on the play by Tank Williams. 16-yard gain to the 31, first down.
When you're going against this style of defense, as we've seen today, 2 things can happen. You can try to make things happen, or you can be patient. This is a zone. Marvin Harrison picks the perfect spot to sit in the zone, and Tank Williams has to make the tackle. Peyton Manning's got the running game to help him. He's got the protection to help him, and he's got the patience of his entire offense to help him.
31-yard line. Harrison has 7 receptions. Linebackers have stayed the same to begin the second half. The secondary unchanged for Tennessee to begin the third quarter. Here's the blitz on Manning on 1st and 10. He's got Harrison again, brought down by Sermon from behind about the 14-yard line and picks up 17 yards. Moments ago, he caught a 16-yard pass. And this drive began with an 11-yard run by Edgerrin James back at the 31.
Well, Peyton Manning knows with the coverage he's got a big pad on his favorite receiver, Marvin Harrison. Harrison almost had a gimme 10 yards the way Woolfolk was so far off the ball. Needed that help from the linebacker Sermon coming back in the inside to make the tackle.
1st and 10, 14-yard line. Clark is in the slot. Edgerrin James, who ran into his own blocker. That was Ryan Deem, and down he goes for no gain. We have a player down with 8:48 to play in the 3rd quarter. Looks to be Pac-Man Jones. Timeout. 83 degrees here in Nashville. 2 Manning touchdown passes. This is their first drive of the second half. Their 6th possession overall. They've got it 2nd down and 10. Pac-Man Jones is out with an injury. Beckham has taken his place. Here is Manning. Caught by Dallas Clark, brought down by Castle. He is at about the 9. It's a gain of 6. Setting up 3rd down and about 3 to go.
There's Jones right here. It seems a little bit sort of uneventful. Rolls over, lands on his back, and stayed there for a while.
8-yard line, 3rd and 4.
Beckham in to replace him, 24, working that right cornerback position against Wayne.
Saturday with the snap. Manning to James. Edgerrin James chased into the end zone for a touchdown by Bo Schobel. An 8-yard touchdown pass, and Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes today.
It's been about accuracy and patience for Tom Moore's quarterback, Peyton Manning. Because Peyton has just taken what this defense has given him, and look at the power of Edgerrin James. Forget about the speed. That drive for James was about patience and power.
That is the first touchdown reception by James this season. It's now 24-3, and on that drive, Manning hit Harrison for 16 and 17 yards. James had an 11-yard run, and then after giving Manning a block to hold off the blitz, Manning hits him for 8 yards and a touchdown pass. It's been a good day for the Manning family. Eli playing in the Meadowlands today. Peyton playing here in Nashville for the Colts. Great numbers, 6 touchdowns and no interceptions. And moments ago, Edgerrin James just caught his first touchdown in his last 137 receptions. And Pat McGrath, our statistician, says that dates back to 2002. Andre Thurman is back at the 5 because Pac-Man Jones is injured. And then down he goes. Jerome Sapp brings him down. A 26-yard return out to the 30-yard line. Edgerrin James on the ground and through the air. Devastating for the Colts. Manning with his 3 touchdown passes to 3 different players. Tennessee gets ready to start their 6th possession at the 30. 1st down and 10. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. And there's a look at Keith O'Neill, the former special teams player for the Dallas Cowboys, who is now a Colt.
Boy, is he.
We'll show you in a second. Here's Steve McNair. It's off to Scaife, who's brought down by Thornton, diving ahead to the 48, picking up about 8 or 9 yards.
Well, here's 53 O'Neill. Here's the wedge. You hear the old term about an NFL game's kind of like a car accident on your body? Well, there's a 1-play, 3-car pileup. Having no regard for your body, how much do you think he cares about yours if you're in the wedge? How about absolutely none?
2 tight ends, 2nd down and 1. Officially at the 39. Here comes Freeney. Hopkins held him off. And the pass is caught by Scaife again, who's grabbed by David Thornton.
1 touchdown in the last 37 opponents' possessions. I mean, that's not lucky. That's not a nice start. That's dominance.
1st and 10 from the 47. And the tall Mississippian McNair throws to Bennett, the former quarterback at UCLA. It's incomplete. Hit the ground, incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Usually you have to get the hands underneath. Do the hands get under the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's ball. That's hands under the ball, scooped into the stomach. I don't think either official had the right angle on that. That was a catch by Bennett.
And it would be for a first down because he grabbed it about the 40-yard line. Second down and 10, 47-yard line. And McNair to Kinney. And this time grabbed by Gary Brackett, who is now a first-year full-time starter taking the place of Rob Morris. I mentioned before Thornton was a college walk-on. Brackett was a college walk-on as well at Rutgers and undrafted in the NFL.
Well, that always helps to illustrate how important being a college star is to being an NFL player. You know, sometimes being a college star is a hindrance to being an NFL player because you're much more overhyped than your ability at the next level.
Marlon Jackson is coming as a fifth defensive back, 3rd and 4. They need the 43. Here comes Mathis. The toss by McNair over Mathis, over to Brown, who runs into his own blocker, Hartwig, and gets the first down to the 42-yard line. Brought down by Cato June. It's a gain of 5. Titans just took a timeout. They're moving to the 42 of the Colts, where they got a first down. They began this drive on their own 30-yard line. McNair. There's a block by Brown and a pass caught by Bennett, who is taken down hard by 3-year starter Nick Harper. 35-yard line, gain of 7.
It's one thing, you got to take your hats off for this Colts defense of what they've done to the Titans offense this game. They pretty much took the receivers away and out of the game plan early, made them go to the tight ends, and since then, everything's been underneath. Everything's short. See 10 to the tight end, 4 to the wide receivers, 2 to the running backs.
Second down, 3 from the 35. Brown drilled by Cato June. He leads the team in tackles this year, led him last year as well. No gain. 3rd and 4 from the 36. McNair gets away from Freeney. He's got the first down. Steve McNair slides into the 24-yard line. Running more today than he has in the 3 games previous combined. Racing for 12. It's a first down to the 24-yard line.
Well, the crowd loves it, and they applaud. I'm sure Jeff Fisher and the Titans organization isn't nuts about seeing him run a lot. But the reason he's got to run is because of the job that the Colts are doing down the field. They are just blanketing their receivers.
2 tight ends. A 3rd receiver is Calico. 1st and 10. Jones and Bennett the other 2. McNair, Scaife, and hit hard by Marlon Jackson. The gain is to the 19. The pickup is 5. Jackson, the former Pennsylvania High School Player of the Year, as we take a look at the standings in the AFC South.
That Jacksonville game, you know Denver, if you're Jacksonville, you've got to stand on that field and say Denver's going to have trouble late in the game. Remember, they came into Miami in that opener and absolutely melted. But conditioning will be a real issue for the Denver Broncos in the second half of that Jacksonville game you just saw.
19-yard lines with an empty backfield. 10th play of the drive. Second down and 5. 5 in the secondary for the Colts. Manning. And caught by Ben Troop. And Troop is hit and brought down by Brackett. Gain of 3. 3rd and 2. From the 16. Thurman was a wide receiver put in for the first time. And McNair calls a timeout, which relegates Jeff Fisher to 1 remaining in the game.
Actually, Jeff Fisher called that timeout from the sideline. He saw something he didn't like. He went nuts.
Normal. There's a guy quiet, normal, Peyton Manning, who
he's quiet.
Spends his Saturday nights alone in his room watching videotape, watching some college football. And then when they've got the special teams meetings, there are only 6 players on the team that don't go to those meetings.
It's his receivers, Edgerrin James himself, and they sit and they go over his plays, and his plays he's marked out during the week.
3rd and 2 from the 16 end around. This is Brandon Jones. There's a good block by Kenny. And he's upended by the fleet-footed Bob Sanders, and he is only there for a gain of 1 to about the 15-yard line. Well, McNair was saying before, you know, they're 1 and 2 coming in. Going to 1 and 3 would be more difficult to dig out for a young team this early in the season. So when you got a 4th and 1, why not go for it, huh?
Oh, absolutely. In this situation, 4th and 1 with, inside of a minute to go in the third quarter, you're down the way you are, 24-3. First you're going to ask for the measurement, but when they actually tell you that you've got about a ball and a half to go, you go ahead and go for it.
Well, you mentioned it before about Steve McNair. Randy had the surgery last December, grafting bone from his hip to his sternum. And McNair told us, he said, well, how many times have you done this operation before? And the doctor said, never.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
But he was born with a birth defect where there should be bone, there was cartilage. And so that's one of the couple reasons why that sternum has been such an issue for him in his career.
Well, that, and as David Carr has found out in Houston, without proper protection at time, and when you run and expose yourself to some, hitting in this league, a quarterback can be treated like a piñata by a good defense in the NFL.
Right. That's right. So it is 4th and 1. They did not get the first down after the measurement. The back of the ball is touching the 15, so it's officially at the 15-yard line.
The heart of your line is inside between the guards.
Couple tight ends. Lead fullback is Fleming.
Motion.
And looked like maybe the veteran Olsen, the right guard, may have twitched.
False start, number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So that drives them back. Now they're going to have to settle for 3.
And it's not much of a move, but there's Benji Olsen, 75, the right guard. He just a little burp, little move forward, as did Roos, number 71, his right tackle. And I wouldn't be surprised, like I mentioned earlier, the Colts are a team defensively that loves to yell things when you're in your stance. If you're distracted, you can take that for a snap count and move.
Here's a 38-yard try by Rob Baronis, who has nailed a 34-yard field goal already, and this is no good. So, boy, they're down there so deep, and they come up with nothing.
And so now one touchdown given up by the Colts defense in the last 38 possessions.
Tennessee has lost 4 consecutive games to Indianapolis, and the case is mounting against them today. It could be 5 in a row.
Well, you line up right, and you pull it left.
For a young team, you got to get points whenever you can. 12-play drive comes up empty, and Baronis, who was the last cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the final cut last year, making the team this year. First down and 10 yards to go from the 27-yard line. And the tackle was made by LeBoy. The ball carrier was James. It's a loss of about a yard on the play. And that will take us to the conclusion of the third quarter. In the first 3 quarters, Peyton Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes. And the first place, Indianapolis Colts leading 24-3. Different receivers, 24-3. The unbeaten Colts on top with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan starting the fourth quarter, 27-yard line, 2nd down 11. Manning gets a block from Tarek Glenn and throws incomplete, short and on a hop to the wide receiver. Now, the Colts offensive line, Randy, the only offensive line team in the NFL not allowing a sack and leading the way for the running back Edgerrin James to average 108 yards. I mean, that is very impressive for a line that a lot of people have had a hard time outside of Indianapolis to tell you who's on it.
Most people in the league couldn't tell you who starts on this line, and they've got one common theme. They're all very smart and they're very good athletes, and the credit goes to Howard Mudd. I think he's right now probably the best offensive line technician coach in the entire league.
I totally agree. 3rd and 11. Pac-Man Jones is back in as a corner. They need the 38. They've deployed 3 receivers, including Clark in the slot. And Manning throws, and Wayne, did he keep the feet in? And what a catch! Reggie Wayne with a grab, a 22-yard snare at midfield, a perfect display of keeping your feet down and a well-placed Manning pass.
Well, which end of this impresses you the most? Is it the throw or is it the catch?
Boy.
And is it the fact that he might not have gotten 2 down, but they ran a play anyway?
James is very quick on a 1st and 10 handoff. and brought down by Castle. Gain of 2 to the 48.
And going quick and snapping the ball is a great idea for Peyton Manning, because you can't challenge something once the next snap has occurred. Watch the feet. Are they both in? I'm not sure if that left one was in, but it sure looked, it was pretty. I mean, that's that sideline tattoo tap dance. Tattoo tap dance. Where'd that come from?
Say that 10 times in a row. 2nd down and 8.
A little Fantasy Island guy, wasn't he?
From 48. Manning throws, dropped incomplete. Dallas Clark, who won the Mackey Award at the University of Iowa for the top college tight end. It's 3rd and 8 coming up.
It's such a contrast of offensive confidence of watching this Colts offense and watching Steve McNair's offense. The McNair offense has been efficient. They've moved the ball, they've gotten yards, but they don't have that kind of that arrogant bounce to them where they seem to always be looking down the field for something next, that next big play. Unlike the Colts, who are always looking to exploit you.
3rd and 8. They need the 40. Michael Waddell is a 5th defensive back for Tennessee. Ryan Carthon is at the side of Manning in the gun. Peyton Manning caught by Dallas Clark, and he's got the first down and more. As he stepped in front of Pac-Man Jones, he was wailed upon by Tank Williams. He is out of bounds at the 24, picking up 24 yards and a Colt first down.
Well, this is a pass by Peyton Manning that would make Roger Clemens proud, because he just rears back and fires this thing to Dallas Clark, and then Dallas Clark has the presence of mind knowing where the defenders are and just sort of runs where they aren't. Man, Manning put some serious heat on that last pass.
It almost had a vapor trail on it, didn't it, as he was throwing it outside?
Those are the kind of passes that make noise.
Yeah, that's right. Carthon remains in the backfield, 24-yard line. 1st and 10. Good block by Tariq Glenn. Time for Manning, and out of the reach of Harrison, who is covered on the play by Andre Woolfolk in the secondary by Tennessee.
There's Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He played for the 49ers and the Chicago Bears during his career. He was a Pro Bowler when he was with the Niners and an All-Pro, and had some knee injuries that cut short his career. But I guess for literally dozens, if not hundreds, of offensive linemen, I'm being one of them, we were lucky enough that his career was cut short, because then he became a coach, and he's been one of the best there's ever been in the last 3 or 4 decades.
2nd down and 10, agreed, from the 24-yard line. Carthon remains. Fletcher with the block, the extra tight end. Harrison with the grab. He slips by Woolfolk, and he is in for his 2nd touchdown. Peyton Manning has thrown 4 touchdown passes today, and with that, the 85th time that they have connected for a TD in their careers.
They now tied with Steve Young and Jerry Rice on the all-time list of quarterback receiver touchdown duos. And remember at the very beginning of the game, Kevin, the UPS points, it's only a matter of time? Not anymore. The time is now. This offense is absolutely going off on the Tennessee Titans.
We've just seen a historic pass as Manning and Harrison have connected for the 85th time, for the 2nd time today. And now Tony Dungy watching a second with the extra point put up, and with 13:09 to play, it's 31-3. The Indianapolis Colts looking at 4-0 in first place in the division. On that touchdown drive, there were passes to Reggie Wayne of 23 yards, Dallas Clark of 24 yards, and then capped by the 24-yard touchdown pass, Manning to Harrison.
To me, the key to this offense is the continuity of not only the talent but the coaching staff. Tom Moore, Howard Mudd, Tony Dungy. They've done a wonderful job of keeping this crew together.
And this will be taken by Thurman at about the 7-yard line for the Tennessee Titans, and tripped up on the play by Giordano, who is a rookie out of Cal and a 4th-round pick. 17-yard return. You're looking to the eyes of a Hall of Famer to be, Marvin Harrison. The ensuing kickoff takes the Titans to the 24, where it's 1st and 10. Steve McNair scrambling again. He's had a couple of 12-yard runs himself today, and he's hit hard, and the ball's jarred loose. The hit was by Larry Triplett. But see, I think he was safe with the hit. The gain is out to the 32. It's an 8-yard gallop by Steve McNair.
As soon as his quarterback slides, the play is basically over. So the slide starts, then the ball comes out. The officials are coming in to mark that as he goes into that slide. As soon as he gives himself up, the play is over.
Second down, long one from the 32-yard line. 3 receivers and a couple of tight ends for McNair. That's caught. Grabbed by Aaron Kenny out to the 38 and picks up 8 on the play.
That Charger team has come alive since that game last week against that Monday nighter against the Giants.
That is a 1st and 10 pass from the 38 to Chris Brown. He breaks a couple of tackles on his way. Brought down by Brackett, 49-yard line, 12-yard gain and a first down for Tennessee.
We talked about those quarterback wide receiver touchdown tandems. My old teammate Steve Young and Jerry Rice sit on top, but now they've got company on top at 85 with Peyton and Marvin. That's scary. Tying all time, and Harrison now with 101 touchdown catches on this career.
And what a career it's been.
Well, it's a 48th career 100-yard game for Marvin Harrison, too.
McNair at 1st and 10. Raheem Brock got in his grill, but the pass is outside for Skaith, who was knocked down eventually by Monte Rager at the 48, 49-yard line. We're going to call it no gain. What a day for Marvin Harrison with 2 touchdown receptions.
Remember we were talking earlier about him having that cast on his wrist? Maybe he ought to put a cast on both hands. He's going to have days like this. What an amazing job. He drives off Woolfolk there and makes him fall, and then it makes him unable to make that tackle.
Bennett, Calico, and Brandon Jones are the receivers. It is 2nd down and 10, officially at the 49. Here comes Josh Thomas, and he brings down McNair. That's the 2nd sack today by the Colt defense. The 2nd career sack by the undrafted Syracuse Orangeman, Josh Thomas.
Yeah, what a great example of what a defensive lineman is for the Colts. You know what they are? And besides Freeney, who has got some freakish talent as far as physically for D linemen, they're all about effort. They're all about technique. They're all about this coach, John Tierlink, who knows how to mix and match these different players. And, they get in there for that one play, or Josh Thomas, you get your sack, you go out and get a blow.
Back to the 42-yard line, now 3rd and 19. They need the 39 of Indianapolis. Look out, here comes Mathis. There goes the throw, and it's caught. Grabbed by, for the first time today, Roydell Williams, who is a rookie out of Tulane, picking up 15 yards, and he's down to the 43-yard line. Roydell Williams played as a Tulane Green Wave player with the big-time hit put on him there by Marlon Jackson. Roydell Williams caught passes at Tulane from the likes of J.P. Lossman and Patrick Ramsey. 4th and 4 from the 43.
He's catching her from a proven quarterback now.
Yes, he is. McNair, here comes Rager up the middle. Aaron Kenny with the catch. Tackle made by Brackett. He's down to the 37. Picks up 6 yards. Coming back home, Peyton Manning played for the Volunteers of Tennessee. McNair from the 37 of Indianapolis, 1st and 10. He's hit his last 10 passes. And that is caught by Calico, 27-yard line, and it's a gain of 9. Make him at the 28. Well, that's some kind of number. You dug that up over the weekend.
Pretty good company there, especially start talking about it. And 87 was a strike year. But the Dolphins and the Bears, and it's not something 37 Bears, I'm sorry. I wonder if that was a strike year. Maybe the coal miners, but not in the NFL.
2nd down and 1 from the 28-yard line. George Ellis coached that team in 37. There's a flag and some movement.
George Ellis might have played on that team in 37.
The league really became the National Football League in 1921.
False start, number 83, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And names like Hallis and Lambeau and Rooney and Mara and Burt Bell, who is the owner of the Philadelphia franchise, just a couple names that stand out as the early founders of this league, but they were all involved still in 1937.
And one of the early founders of the next league, the American Football League, was Bud Adams, the owner here in Nashville.
Exactly. Lamar Hunt and so on. Baron Hilton, 2nd down and 6. The ball is at the Indianapolis 33. McNair, and that's dropped by Ben Truth. A guy who had some foot surgery back in May and has made a miraculous recovery, and here he is as a very effective offensive player for Tennessee.
We were talking about that earlier, about the teams that have limited their opponent under 10 points, and this group right here, the Green Bay Packers, won that 62 NFL championship before there were Super Bowls. So after this week, you'll have the Colts and Ron Meeks, their defensive coordinator, is pretty much sledding in some uncharted snow. They'll be in the fresh powder here after a while.
A 5th defensive back in, Marlon Jackson, 3rd down and 6. They need the 27. McNair, and throws. Calico almost had it, incomplete. Covered downfield by Sanders, who got his first NFL interception today. Bob Sanders from Iowa.
What an amazing snare, or half a snare. one hand stop and then an attempted snare. But this is an instance too, Kevin, where this entire football team, you see Peyton Manning, he's not on the sideline screaming just for grins, and you got the defense on the field. They're very proud of what they got going as far as what they've allowed points-wise. They're very proud of it, and they don't want to let the Titans in the end zone.
33, 4th and 6. Here's McNair, and it was tapped, and it was on the deflection caught by Williams, who was drilled on the play by Sanders. It's a 17-yard gain. It's a 1st down. He's to the 15-yard line. Roydell Williams, a great athlete, so good in fact that he was drafted by Major League Baseball's Cincinnati Reds while in high school.
Well, right now he might think he's back at the old Riverfront Stadium after getting hit like that by Sanders.
This is the first charge timeout, Indianapolis.
What a competitor.
See, offensive players know all about getting hit, and they can appreciate a good hit by their guys. They're just glad they're not on the receiving end.
6.5 to play. Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan after that timeout, 1st and 10. 12th play of this Tennessee drive, which began at the 24. It's at the 15, and here is McNair, and it's almost picked off. Incomplete. Mike Doss almost had the pick.
Trying to do the same thing you saw Drew Bennett do earlier, but ball bounced before Doss ever got to it. And right now, this is all about that streak of holding an opponent under 10 points, holding them out of double digits. What this defense has done 3 weeks in a row, they're going for 4.
5 in the secondary, 4 receivers. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 15. McNair, Ben Troop galloping in and past Jackson, and then tries to jump over Nick Harper, who flips him over like a rag doll. It's a gain of 7. He's down to the 7.
Well, leap 1 seemed like a good idea. He thought he'd try it twice, and then he got about 3 feet off the ground and remembered he was a tight end and not a wide receiver. So, he's taller than he looked when he was bending over.
Ball is officially at the 8-yard line. By the way, Steve McNair has not thrown a 4th quarter touchdown pass since the late 2003 season.
Well, he wasn't active for the end of the season last year, so. Right. But this is 2 downs right here. They'll go 3rd and 4th if they don't make it.
3rd and 3, and Chris Brown is inside the 5. Brackett makes the stop. A flag is down. One of the few flags we have had today. Most have been on the Titans. Only one on Indianapolis.
Number 75, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So ouch. 9 on the Titans and only 1 penalty today on the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, remember, no turnovers, 1 penalty, perfect execution.
You said it.
If you're Jeff Fisher and the Titans and you want the formula for an upset at your place against a team that's playing this good, that's nowhere in the equation. They've been the one to make the penalties. Tony Dungy's team has not been. Titans have been the ones that turn it over. The Colts have not been.
Back of the football is touching the 18, so it's 3rd and 13. They need the 6. Nickel secondary. Here comes McNair. He's got Aaron Kenny, who gets a block from Pillar and bangs his way downfield into Mike Doss. He's close to a first down inside the 7. It's a gain of 11 yards.
It's about a yard short.
Right, exactly.
Just a freckle less than a yard.
You're right.
Which would be about 2 Scotias.
And it is officially at the 6. Although it is just inside the 7, it's officially at the 6. 2 receivers and 2 tight ends. 4th and a short 2. Can the Colts hold on? Trying to preserve what has been a masterpiece on defense. McNair with the touchdown pass to Scaife. Bo Scaife has his first career touchdown reception, much to the chagrin of the Indianapolis sideline and their much improved defense.
Excellent game plan. Nice call. Good matchup. Perfect execution. Now for the Indianapolis Colts, they've lost that streak of 3 games in a row, trying for 4. The next big challenge for them, Kevin, is going to be someone's going to light them up defensively. It'll be how do they handle somebody doing that to them? How does their confidence take it?
Baronis' extra point is up and in. McNair with his 5th touchdown pass of the season, culminating a 15-play drive. He hits the rookie tight end for 6. Steve McNair just threw a touchdown pass here in the 4th quarter for the Tennessee Titans with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan commanding 31-10. Indianapolis Colts lead. Manning has thrown 4 touchdown passes today. And Baronis will kick off for Tennessee.
And this will be one of those games where McNair will have nice stats. But it's all been to running backs and tight ends. It's like they've gone into the Wayback Machine to about 5-6 years ago when all he threw to was Frank Wycheck.
Van Carthen watches it go out of bounds. Baronis kicks it out of play, and so the Colts will begin at the 40-yard line. And that is going to really tick off Jeff Fisher, who is a special teams coach at heart, in addition to his great defensive feel. From the 40-yard line, it's 1st and 10. McNair going over with the other 2 quarterbacks, Volek and Mauk.
And if you see a fullback in the backfield for the Colts, that should tell you they're going to go to what their version of the wishbone. They are running and slamming this ball.
They've got Ryan Lilja, a guard, is the lead fullback for Rand Carthen. Carthen gets that block and one from Harrison and runs to the side where he is brought down by Ronaldo Hill, who is a rookie. It's a gain of 8, and they mark him down at the 47-yard line.
Take a look at how the Manning family did. Remember, well, Archie was on the college show yesterday with Jim Brando, so it's been quite a weekend in New York for the Mannings, and a pretty good homecoming returning to Tennessee for Peyton. And a nice job just then by Rand Carthen, too. A lot of young, inexperienced backs might go out of bounds in that situation. Carthen stays in bounds and keeps the clock running.
Dylan Gandy now playing the left guard. Lilja, the guard, is lining up in the backfield. Carthen is in back of him. 2nd down and 3.
Come on, give him the ball.
I would like to see that. Kansas State Wildcat product from the 47, Rand Carthen. And brought down by Randy Starks in the middle for the Tennessee Titans, and a gain of about 2 near the 49. You know, timeouts. Indy's got 2. Tennessee's got 1.
When you're playing fullback, and you're an offensive lineman, watch Lilja. You're used to being in small areas like a phone booth, and you get bent into funny spaces. See the kind of bent back, and that doesn't feel good. You know, you have that happy. You're not used to that. You're used to running around in small areas. Suddenly, you got all that air around you, and people can come in and hit you from the back and the side.
Now they're going to put Lilja as a tight end. Now Manning wants him kind of in an offset eye. 7 of 9 third down conversions today for the Colts. Rand Carthen is brought down nicely by Jared Klaus on the 3rd and 1. It's a loss of 4 and back to the 43. Colts have got a punt. Clock continues to tick. Ryan Lilja was invited to the Kansas City camp. He was waived last year. Within hours, the Colts signed him. He started about 6 games last year. He's a starting guard this year.
And here's Lilja right here working at that kind of up back, wing back Like I mentioned, you get big guys and with air around them, they don't like air. They want bumpers. When you go bowling, you have bumpers in the side. The ball can't go in the gutters.
Hunter Smith gets it high. Thurman, the ex-Green Bay Packer, signaling for a fair catch. Ricochets in the end zone. The hang time there, 5.2 seconds. The best of the day on a 56-yard punt. Well, you've seen the Norm Chow offense 2 games. What do you think for Tennessee?
I have no problems with it. I just think they're a little limited in their weapons. I mean, the number 1 weapon coming in was Drew Bennett, and he's only had 2 catches. They've taken that away. You got to like what some of your other guys have done. I mean, Jones has shown some good flashes. Troop has shown some good flashes, but no offense without the right kind of ingredients in it is going to be that effective.
Jarrett Payton with his first NFL carry, the son of the late Walter Payton. Brought down by Freeney, a guy who was on the Tennessee practice squad last year, and a guy that Jeff Fisher has known since Fisher played with the Bears back in the mid-'80s. Yep. Walter Payton would be very proud. His son has fought long and hard to make this NFL debut today. 11-yard gain. We're at the 2-minute warning. First down after the 11-yard gain by Jarrett Payton. At the 31-yard line, Payton again. And look at him slash upfield and finally get brought down on the play by Bob Sanders. Payton played NFL Europe ball for Amsterdam. They won the championship this past summer overseas.
They opened a lot of eyes, and that's one of the reasons he's getting the shots he got this year was the job he did this year in Europe.
Payton again, another big hole. Brought down by Brackett and by Doss. Close to a first down near the 44-yard line. He's had 3 carries. He's got 35 yards, but he's got a ways to go to get his late, great father, Walter Payton. Played at Miami to Jarrett Payton and led the Hurricanes in rushing his senior year.
And Jeff Fisher said that the guy had so little flexibility. One of the great things he's done and given that snap and that speed is get that flexibility back, improved it up to 6 inches.
Second down and 1. Payton again. Hit by Thomas, brought down by Doss, gain of 3. Well, this will be the 4th consecutive, make that 5 consecutive Indianapolis Colts wins over Tennessee. As we tick it off here, Manning 4 touchdown passes today. McNair had a touchdown pass for Tennessee.
And remember, Indianapolis Colts job number 1. It isn't great stats on offense, not necessarily even great stats on Dwight Freeney's defense. Job number 1 for the Colts this year is home field advantage. They don't want to go to New England. They don't want to go to Pittsburgh. They want home field advantage, and they're on their way.
For Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, big day for Peyton Manning. 31-10 the Colts. Let's go to New York and Craig Gumbel.